This episode of the Multipoint Inspection Podcast is brought to you by Vesperio. Vesperio's Performance Academy offers custom-tailored solutions for service advisors and leaders. When I took my Toyota Tacoma in for its first maintenance at Robinson Toyota a few weeks ago, I had no intention of making a podcast episode out of my visit. I had a lot going on that day. I was hammering out the details of a fairly large online purchase for some gear for the studio, and I had to get back in time to interview Richard Lupo for an update on the devastation caused by Hurricane Helene in his neck of the woods. To be honest, I was just hoping to get out of there in a reasonable amount of time so that I could get back to work. But then I received this.
Your tire that was from the front was at 9:30 seconds. Your tire that was from the rear was also at 9:30 seconds. Taking a look at your brakes today, we're looking at 10 in the front, looking all nice and good on those front rotors and brakes.
As much as I have praised the video MPI on this podcast, I've never been the recipient of one until now. And when my truck was ready with plenty of time to spare to get to my interview, I asked to speak to the Fixed Operations Director. In this Dealership Spotlight edition of the Multipoint Inspection Podcast, I talked with Ronnie Patterson of Robinson Toyota in my hometown of Jackson, Tennessee, about what this dealership is doing to wow its customers, including myself.
My name is Ronnie Patterson. I'm the Fixed Operations Director at Robinson Toyota here in Jackson, Tennessee.
Ronnie, if you just want to give an intro and your title, and then we'll get into your background after that.
Sure. My name is Ronnie Patterson. I'm the Fixed Operations Director at Robinson Toyota here in Jackson, Tennessee. And I don't know what else more you would want from than that.
Yeah, that's it. I'll cut that up and I'll put that in the audio part. A little bit of your background, man. How'd you get into this game, and how long you been with Robinson? All the things.
Well, not the normal background you normally hear. You know, I grew up in the industry or things like that. That was not the case with me. I actually came into sales after a previous career in retail. I got out of I was actually with Camelot Music. You might remember back in the day. Yeah. And that's actually what got me here to Jackson. But as we all know, things don't last forever. And at that point in my career, I was ready just to be a peon. I didn't want to be a manager anymore. I didn't want to be responsible for anything. And I saw an ad in the paper. It was for Golden Circle Ford, advertising for salespeople. And to be honest, that was the first time probably the second time I'd ever walked into a dealership. Growing up, my parents we're totally anti-dealership. Don't go there. They're going to take all your money, all that good stuff. So I believe that up until really I got the job selling cars. And while sales was great, it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. But during that time frame, I learned about the service department, parts department. And I thought, man, if I ever got the opportunity, that would be a cool job to have. Problem solving, helping customers out, just to me was a lot more enjoyable than probably trying to sell cars. So lo and behold, about a year into it, I got a chance to come over here to Robinson Toyota and write service. And it was at that time, it was me and the service manager. And I think we had 5 techs, couple of folks in parts. And that was about it. This was in 1999. So Toyota was number 4. They still weren't huge, still growing. And got in, wrote service for a few years, and service manager opportunity came open, and I got promoted there and was service manager up until about 4.5 years ago when we opened up the title of Fixed Operations Director, and I assumed that role and got me a replacement for my service manager. And it's been a great time and been a lot of fun. really the whole time. I mean, there's been the ups and downs. Economy's going good south. You might remember Toyota even at one time were accused of running away on their own. Back in, I guess it was around 07, 08. But it's just been really good to me. The Robinsons are this is a single point family owned store. Um, they have been great people to work for. I think you would find it hard pressed to find anybody that has worked for them over the past to have a bad thing to say. I mean, it's just been a really great opportunity, and they've allowed me to do whatever it is I feel we need to do. They've let me run the department as it is as if it were mine. So that being able to do the creative things that we've done over the past few years really has just made it a lot of fun, to be honest.
Couple of things. First, I had an eBay. This is like in 99, 2000. I had an eBay record store. I was selling CDs and vinyl on eBay, and I was a power seller. Man, I was working out the spare bedroom of my house. I was killing it.
Awesome.
Things ended up happening, and since I had that background, I kind of fell on my face, financially, and the business was no more. And I went to since I had that on my resume, I got a job. It didn't last long, but I got a job at it was FYE at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that Camelot, way different than Camelot was awesome back in the day, man. That was
right.
And I'm a music guy. I play, I write, and I just love music. But yeah. So I did it once it was FYE. Of course, it was gone not too long after that. The other thing was I was trying to remember this. I'm from Jackson. I'm 50 years old, so my whole life. Where was the location when you started? Where was that?
So we were actually in the mall. Really, we're pretty cheap. Oh, you mean Robinson Toyota?
Robinson, yeah.
So we were actually across the street from Golden Circle Ford and the Honda store.
That's right.
Auto. So it was when Mr. Robinson bought the store. I believe he bought it in '97. It had come across some financial difficulties. I believe they only had one new car on the lot and had to pay COD for all the parts and stuff that they would get every week. So,
oh wow,
we've definitely grown a lot since then. I bet you we probably didn't have 20 employees when I first started, and just last week I think we have 77 employees, something like that now. So I mean, it's really been a good thing.
Yeah.
But that's where the whole building was. It would fit probably in the size of our showroom. It would fit in there. It was
yes. Yeah, I remember. Of course, like I said, I go back, man. This is before the Robinsons got it. I remember when it was on South Highland, south of the fairground. I can't even think what's in that now. I think a body shop's in there now.
Right.
But yeah, I do remember that now. I worked for Keystone Automotive for 13 years, which was fenders and more. Oh. And if I remember, there wasn't a body shop ever there, but we would sell AC condensers and radiators. And I did go to that location there on the bypass across from Golden Circle. Now I remember. Like I said, I'm so old. I remember it when it wasn't even Robinson and on the south side of town. Yeah, that's cool to see the growth. And just a side note, man. I mean, full disclosure, I bought a new Tacoma last December. I got the last of the V6s. I wanted to get the old generation right. That's a great brand, man. I mean, there are worse brands that you could work for as far as
no doubt. We're actually a part of a couple of different 20 groups. Where dealers. Like once every 4 months, I get together with 20 other dealers from across the country, all Toyota dealers, all sizes, shapes. But there's also, many locations that have more than one brand and things like that. So you get to hear the horror stories of everywhere else. And I think that's probably one of the things, being that it was Toyota and not realizing how good I had it. But I really think that's one of the things that enabled me to continue to do what I was doing here, because Toyota has been a great manufacturer to work for. Although I couldn't tell you anything about the other ones, I do hear that Toyota is definitely on top when it comes to, warranty repairs, customer service, and things like that. And I've seen some truly amazing things over the years that Toyota stepped up and done, and I'm sure other manufacturers do the same thing. But it's, like I say, it's been a cool deal. Growing up, that my parents did own Toyotas, so it's kind of like it's always been a part of me. But to actually work for them, and like I say, we were number 4 back then, and I think we've been number 1 10 out of the last 11 years, but maybe even longer than that. But it's just been a good journey, and I really, it's not something you're embarrassed to say that I work for Toyota or am affiliated with Toyota by any means.
Yeah. I see billboards a lot about you guys breaking records, and I now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if that was in sales or in the service side. Both
sides. Sales probably more so. We advertise sales more than service, but so Joseph Robinson, he's our general manager. He stepped into the business. He's actually Richard Robinson's son. He actually stepped into the business about 8-9 years ago. And I tell you, it opened up a whole new door, just a whole new freshness. And man, we've been working together ever since and just rocking it every month. It seems like we're setting a new record, either in sales, service, parts, both, all of them. It's really been amazing. It really has.
Talk about the culture there, and like what, in order to have those bragging rights, there's below the surface, things have to be rocking and rolling, because service, bad it's CSI, whatever.
Yeah, it's 100% the people. I learned a long time ago, if you surround yourself with good people, you look really good. You don't have to be that good, but you look really good. And that's what I've done, from technicians to the parts department to service advisors, even my porters in the lane. We've come to expect a lot out of the folks, but we also the culture is just ingrained in us from the get-go, that we're here for the customer, and we want to do whatever we can to make that customer happy. So that just kind of filters down from the top, or filters up from the bottom, however you want to look at it. It really makes a difference having the right people. We have a lot of people that have been with us 5, 10, 15, 20 years. There's a tech. I have a tech back there that's been here longer than I have. So, I mean, it just shows you we don't have a lot of turnover. And I think that also helps with the customer service. And, as a customer, I would think coming in, you like to see the same people time after time after time. And it may not always be that way at the other dealerships. So we've just kind of really made it cultural to, one, have the best people here. We don't tolerate any cancer or anything like that. People coming in, if they don't fit in with us, we will quickly say goodbye and we'll bring somebody else in. But we just haven't had to do a whole lot of that. We've got a lot of longevity in our ranks, and I think that helps a whole lot as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, even with low turnover, I was going to ask you what your hiring process looks like when you do have to look, as far as red flags, maybe,
you like to, I would like to think I'm a great interviewer. I've probably interviewed 1,000 people over my lifetime, and I tell you, I will still miss things. You've got that one usually 15 to 30 minute shot interviewing someone where you're trying to make all of your decisions based on, what they're telling you at that point. And it's kind of a liar's club both ways a little bit,
Yeah.
But there's really nothing, it's personality. I feel that person's going to have the personality to relate with the team and what we have going on. As I said before, we don't want any cancer in here. We don't want somebody coming in and souring up the processes or anything like that. So we really pay a lot of attention to more of personality. I don't do any personality test or anything, but you can get a pretty good feel about how somebody is after 15, 20 minutes of talking with them. I feel you're a pretty good guy now. So, I mean, we've talked about 15, 20 minutes now. So you're a pretty good guy. So, but I mean, you get the feeling early on. And if it's not a right fit, we're not going to hire them. I mean, it's just that simple. Yeah. We might be shorthanded, but we're going to stay shorthanded a little longer until we get that right person. Doesn't make any sense just to try to fill a slot with whoever you can fill it with and expect good results out of it.
Awesome. Let's talk about WOW. When I was in getting my 5K maintenance on the truck, we talked about that and how that came about.
So it's really been a couple of years. I was looking for a service advisor, and I knew we always got good surveys here at the store, and my advisors' names were mentioned a whole lot, and I got the idea, hey, if I go to these other dealers and look on their Google reviews, I might be able to pick up a good advisor, just by the customers talking about how good they are. I mean, it happens here. Why wouldn't it happen anywhere else? And what I found is it doesn't happen anywhere else. I found that most customers on the other dealers' websites, if they're going to talk about the service department, it's going to be because they had a problem and it wasn't handled correctly. There were not a whole lot of shout outs or good jobs or attaboys being posted. And when I went and I thought about it, I was like, wow, we've got something going on here that nobody else does. And we need to figure a way to bottle it and sell it, I guess, is the way that came about. And so last November, we had a 20 group in Jacksonville, Florida, and one of the guys in my 20 group works at Beaver Toyota there in St. Augustine, and we did a store visit there. And one of the big things they had was wow. That everywhere you look was a wow, wow pricing, wow this, wow that. And I thought, well, that's awesome. I really like how they did that. I said, I'm going to take this idea, I'm going to come up with my own word, and I'm going to implement what I want to do. And so we got back to the store and I was like, come on, we got to come up with something, and every time I tell this story, the person will be like, what about this? What about that? But wow ended up being the best word you could do. You could use. I mean, if somebody has a wow experience, it's usually a really good one or it's a really, bad one. It's a wow experience. So I wanted to make some changes as far as how we did maintenance menus and just the whole revamp our processes and everything. And I thought, what a great way. We'll put it under the wow umbrella. As far as customer service goes, I shouldn't have to do anything. We're getting, not bragging, but if you go and look at our surveys, especially my service department, they're talking about Vince, Anthony, John, everyone, Lynn, everybody, gets shout outs. And that just, to me, is awesome. We're not asking for that. We don't beg for our surveys or anything like that. But when these things come across and you read them, it's just it. I tell you, I got one in just Saturday, as a matter of fact, and it was a lady. She actually called Toyota. Normally on the complaint line, but she wanted to call out Spencer, one of my advisors, that she was there with 6 kids and getting a service done. And in the middle of the service, her credit card company calls and says, hey, we're having to cancel your credit card because there's fraud. And this lady's whole visit was going downhill in a handbasket quickly. And the advisor, Spencer, he happened to hear what was going on. And we've got some Matchbox cars and stuff that we'll give to the kids and stuff. So they made sure that the kids had something to play with. And then he pulls out $10 out of his pocket and offers it. He's like, "This is all I got, but this can get you gas or whatever you need." And of course, the lady was overwhelmed. She didn't take his money, but she did take the time to call Toyota and tell them what a great thing that was. That's the kind of thing that happens day in and day out. I don't ever see it unless it's something like this, but that's just the kind of quality that the wow is, and that's what we strive for. There's really no one definition or anything like that. In fact, when I kicked this off, I said, there's many places you can go get a steak in town. You can go to Flatiron Grill, and you're going to pay a good penny, but you're going to get great service, great atmosphere. I said, you can go to Logan's. You can get a steak there. If you want a steak, you can get a steak at Logan's too. It's not going to be quite the experience you have at the Flatiron, but it's not going to cost you near as much either. And so it all boils down to what kind of experience can we give the customer that's different from anywhere else. And we're not the cheapest by any means, but I really think we fulfill the reason as to why we're a little bit more, because we do above and beyond what you're going to get in most other dealerships, especially around here in West Tennessee.
I'll tell you what, you've got the cleanest bathrooms I've ever seen. I can attest to that.
Well,
I mean, the little things like that make a difference, man.
Hey, that's what makes a Buc-ee's a Buc-ee, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Clean bathroom. Yeah. We don't have somebody in there cleaning them up all the time, but I agree. Just having a clean place. We've been here now almost 11 years in January, and I would think when you walked in, you would think that we were still, hadn't been here for a long time. Facility's in great shape, and everybody really kind of cares about, if there's a piece of trash on the ground, they're going to pick it up.
Yeah.
We just the pride of ownership, I guess, of working here. It has a lot to do with it.
Wait, who owns all those old Toyotas in the showroom in there? There's like old Supras and all kinds of things that you don't normally think about. At least I didn't. Toyota was kind of new when I was coming up in the 80s. I mean, it was Nissan and Toyota were kind of, Nissan was Datsun, but the Japanese thing was still new. You don't think of, you think of like a Chevrolet dealership and seeing a 57 Bel Air in there, right, in the showroom. You go in your store, man, there's like, who owns all those old Toyotas in there? So
actually, Joseph and Richard Robinson, they're all our cars. And we actually have more. We have an offsite warehouse where we can kind of swap out. Right now it looks like we have Land Cruisers and Supras in there, but next month I might have, we've got lots of different things. An old Tacoma, straight out of Back to the Future, that old 4-wheel drive. I don't even think it has a radio in it. It's so basic.
Right.
Cressida, you might remember the Cressida.
Yes.
The Cressida was Lexus before Lexus came along, I guess. But we'll drive them in the parades. So the Strawberry Festival, the last few years, we've taken. I think one year we had every generation Supra. I think this past year we had every generation Land Cruiser, and so it's cool to have them in there. It really was a smart thing to have those cars during COVID when production went down and nobody had any new cars. We always had something in there that people enjoy looking, and everybody can remember. Oh yeah, I remember that old Celica. Or I had one of those growing up. So it's a neat thing. I don't think we'll ever have the come in and buy one off the showroom, a new one off the showroom, just because we don't have new ones in the showroom, So
yeah, that's cool. The Vesperio Performance Academy offers custom-tailored solutions for service advisors and leaders. We allow you to select exactly what you want based on your store's needs. After taking our customized learning path survey, we use those results to tailor a learning path specifically for you. You'll have access to our complete learning library, and you can test what you've learned with our knowledge checks. And for managers, our easy-to-use admin dashboard allows you to easily see current activity from your team and access reports quickly. Vesperio's Performance Academy promotes advisor and manager engagement and communication by including the manager after every concept an advisor completes. Vesperio also allows users the ability to add custom dealership assets and processes that all live in one location. To get a look inside the Performance Academy or to get your team started today, go to Vesperio.com. That's Visperio.com. You sent me. I was able to look at the WOW for the service advisors and everything. Was the buy-in hard on that? Like you said, your customer service was already up there, but there were some changes in that. What was that? Was that like pulling teeth? Or I mean, I'm sure it's human nature. Nobody wants to change.
Nobody wants to change. We came in on March 1st, I believe, and we changed everybody's job. Everybody had a different job that they were used to the day before. And so I think we did, I spent a lot of time writing up, you saw the service advisor presentation, but we also had a presentation for sales. We had a presentation for line technicians. We had a presentation for lube technicians, for the parts department. Everybody had their own segment. And we spent a couple of weeks before we actually launched the program and had meetings at night and kind of training sessions. This is how we're going to do things. And there wasn't a lot of problems with any buy-in. We typically don't have that issue at all. A few years ago, almost 3 years ago, we instituted video multipoint inspections. And, at my 20 groups, most of the stores that we talk with are paying technicians to do the video multipoint and things like that. I think we've always been clear and up front. Hey, this is what we can do to one. We're going to make everybody more money. We're going to make your technicians are going to make more money. The service advisors, everybody is going to make more money if we do this, whether it be video multipoints or we're doing menus now or whatever it may be. My guys are really good about, okay, let's give it a shot. I think we've just established enough history in the past that generally anything that we do, and this is what we say, and it comes to pass. If everybody does their part, it generally is successful. And I think, of course, COVID taught us a lot about change. So nowadays, change is really not a bad thing. We feel you've got to continue to change. Akio Toyota has a great saying that there is no best, only better. And what that means is once you say you're the best, you tend to give up. I'm here, I've made it, and I'm the best. But if you're constantly trying to get just a little better, and we kind of keep that's part of our culture, I guess, is we always want to be just a little better than we were yesterday. I've often said, if a customer comes in here and has a bad experience, because it does happen. I mean, everybody's human. But if they come here and they're like, that was terrible, I'm going to go somewhere else. I hope, that when they go wherever else they go, wow, it wasn't that bad after all. I hope our worst day is better than anybody else's best day. So it's a mindset that everyone has. And I really feel is what contributes to the success of the overall program for sure.
We can cut this out if this is something that because this is inside baseball, and I know you don't want to give away trade secrets.
Sure.
And you just tell me, that's fine, and I'll cut it out, and it'll be fine. One thing that really stuck out to me that, especially when you did the math on if somebody does have a bad experience,
right,
and the Visa gift cards versus a free oil change.
Sure.
Can you talk about that at all? Or
no, I would love to. So. Up until we launched the WOW program, it was, and I think it's pretty much common, generally done when, the customer's upset or whatever. Hey, we'll give you the oil change for you. We'll give it to you for free. Sorry about that. Here you go. And it's just forgotten about, done. I got to thinking, well, let me back up. I started doing the math on that, and for a $70 oil change that it cost us if we eat it, it actually cost us about $1,100, I believe, if I remember correctly. If you look at the money that was lost and how much money it takes to recoup that, and then I thought, are we really? Is the customer really happy that they got the oil change free? I mean, is there something we could do better? And so the $25 gift card, in my mind, I thought, what if we gave them a gift card? And what this does is they're going to put it in their pocket. They might use it later that day. It might be a week down the road, but whatever. They're going to pull this gift card out, and they're going to remember, hey, there was a problem, but look how they took care of me. And I know it's not, I mean, it's a lot less than what an oil change would cost, but it's real money to a customer. So they remember. And if we took care of them properly, it's going to be a good experience to use the gift card. They're going to remember that's pretty cool. It bought me lunch or whatever, hey, got my kids some gas. Here, take this gift card. And so it has done really well. I haven't had hardly any kickback from anybody. Like, well, I expected a free oil change, and being that it's only $25, we might give it just because, just as a goodwill, Mr. Johnson, we noticed it took an hour and a half. Normally it takes us 30 minutes. We apologize, and we'll offer that up front before anything's said. The advisors each have their own, and they're able to just give it right then. They don't have to come to us. They don't have to ask for permission or anything like that. It's whatever you need to do to take care of your customer right then. Customer comes in and we got 9 of the 10 parts and missed that 10th part and didn't realize it. And the customer's sitting here and we're like, we should, we didn't catch that and we could have saved you a trip. Here's the gift card. We apologize. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll have your part. It just, it tends to, it's something tangible in people's hands that they're able to actually remember. Excuse me. Actually remember, yes, there was a problem, but they totally took care of me in the end. And that's the whole point.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant when I saw that. That stuck out. You mentioned video MPI, and I was going to ask you this after we stopped recording, but I'll go ahead. Is it okay to use the footage of mine?
Sure.
That was okay. I've done 2 or 3 episodes about video MPI, and to me, like I said, I was in the automotive industry on a more of a vendor level, but as a customer, as a consumer, it's a game changer, and it's so simple. And I've been singing its praises since I learned about it while doing this podcast. But a couple of weeks ago, I got my first very own I got to see my truck, which is a good looking truck, man, and it's up on the rack, and that was cool, man. And and I had forgotten. I don't know if I even knew you guys did that, but I'm sitting there, and I had a lot of stuff going on that day, man. I had to rush back to do a special edition interview with a friend of the podcast who's been on a bunch. His dealership is in Asheville, and all that hurricane stuff was going on. So I was trying to make sure he was okay. So I had this. I had a guitar that I had ordered, and they were calling me from Indiana. You talk about customer service, Sweetwater. If you ever buy, good grief, man, those people there. He sat there and tried to have a conversation, and I wasn't expecting it. I'm sitting there. Of course, your waiting room's nice. I think Bonanza was on the TV or whatever. And I was just trying to chill, even though I had all this stuff going on. And man, I get a text, and my truck's up on the rack, and I get my own personal video MPI. You mentioned that about the buy-in on that, but I bet the benefits of that have to be tremendous because it made me feel good.
Sure.
And going back to what you originally said, growing up, I grew up in that same don't trust a dealership, man. That to me right there is the cure-all for that.
Yep. I would agree 100%. I think my technicians would quit. I think the advisors would quit if I said we weren't going to do those anymore because, when you're We first saw this probably realistically about three and a half, 4 years ago. Mr. Robinson, the owner, he has multiple vehicles, and one of them was a BMW, and he took it to the BMW store there in Memphis. And I guess they had just gotten on to this video MPI, and they had sent him a video MPI, and he was like, "Look at this," and I was like, "Wow, that is really cool." But there wasn't. Of course, you look now, there's all kinds of companies that are doing it. It's pretty much become the standard. But back then, there wasn't a whole lot. I believe iService was the big company that was doing those, and unfortunately, it wouldn't work with our system as far as the way we have it now. The technician, he does the video, he sends it to the customer. It kind of bypasses the advisor. He sends it to the advisor as well, but it goes straight to the customer from the technician. And what that allows is the technician to say, of course, they're trained on what to say, what to show, what to look for, things like that. But it allows that technician to get the information they want personally to the customer. Whereas before, it would have to go through the advisor, and there was always, the advisor didn't tell him this, or he forgot to say this or that. And so this was the direct line to the customer. So now they're able to do the video. It goes straight to the customer. There is no surprises on the advisor end as far as, oh my gosh, I can't believe you sent that, it's all looped together, and it works really, really well. And like I say, if I told them we were turning it off tomorrow, I really think I would have people quit, because, and I don't even know who did your video, but I've watched many videos, and these guys really have it down, really good. I'm impressed at how good they have them.
Yeah, and this isn't a paid sponsorship, but I noticed it was True Video that you guys use,
Sure.
and it may be the Reynolds, but True Video. I interviewed Joe Shaker, who started True Video, and I don't know what episode that is now. Yours is going to be like 44, so it was probably in the 20s, and how he started that, and he had his own auto group, and he basically was scratching his own itch, and he wanted to, and I think I know they did. They fixed a lot of the issues you were talking about, like working on certain systems, right, and the shakiness of it looks great, man. And that was True Video, and which is awesome, because I know how he started that thing.
That's
so
cool.
That was really, really cool to see.
We just happened to be, it was me and Joseph. We were at a NADA show in Vegas 3 years ago, and we happened to be walking around the back side of the convention, and happened to see, we had already talked with iService and talked with a couple of other vendors, and I was like, hey, here's True Video. Let's get their take real quick. And they were able to work regardless of what DMS system you have. It didn't matter, because it was kind of a standalone thing, and that's what hooked us with them. And they're surprisingly super cheap compared to everybody else. And I mean, we signed on with them that trip right then, and we came back and kind of let everybody know what we were doing, and of course everybody's like, oh my gosh, videos. I'm a technician. I'm not a video guy, but like I say, giving the direct voice straight to the customer, I really think enables or gives the technician a feeling of, I've got to, this is what's going on. This is what's broken. They don't have pricing or anything like that. In your case, I believe yours was the very first service. So, I mean,
yes,
we're selling the green as well. We want you, when Toyota pays for the first 2 years of maintenance, and we want, after you get out of that first 2 years, we want you to come back, because you're getting the video and you're getting all of those things. So,
yeah,
it's a really good program. We've been really happy with True Video. And then Reynolds, I guess they bought them and made them a part of this system that we already had. So it's worked out really well for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm planning on this truck outliving me, hopefully. And so yeah, I'll be back after the 2 years, for sure. Are there any other technologies that you guys use that you texting or things like that just that help with that customer service that you give?
Of course, texting has been a part of the Reynolds system for a while. So that, it's crazy when texting first came out. I can remember, don't text your customers. That's terrible. Nobody wants to get a text. They want to, nowadays, nobody wants a phone call. They want a
I know.
text. It's like, don't call me, whatever you do.
Yeah.
So we've had that in place for a while. Probably our biggest technology that we've added when we did this, and it's almost been 2 years in next March. We the alignment checkers, in lane alignment checkers. So when you pull into our lane, we can tell you before you get out of the car whether your vehicle meets the alignment specs and the tread wear of your tires. Are they in 5 30 seconds, 6 30 seconds, 1 30 seconds? We're able to let you know that as we're writing up the vehicle. So that helps a whole lot. Normally before then, there wasn't any kind of, people didn't get alignments unless they bought a set of tires or they actually had an issue. But it's amazing to see how many vehicles are truly, it's upward of 60% of the vehicles that come through, especially around here. You can't get to the dealership without going over, a bunch of terrible roads. So you'd think they would all be bad, but they're not. But I mean, things like that, you normally wouldn't be able to save somebody's tires until it was too late with an alignment issue. It's like, wow, my right front's bald and none of the other ones are. What's up? And it's, your alignment's out. Well, now you need to buy some tires. So things that's been a really cool deal to offer. When we were talking about this, and I really couldn't think of anything extra above and beyond besides that we really, the video's been probably the biggest game changer of all in the last few years.
Yeah.
We, before then, you'd have the paper multi-point inspection form, and everybody got that, and those tended to be pencil whipped really easily, green, or, you just didn't get the same type of inspection as you're getting. For sure we're looking at your vehicle. And if we say there's something wrong, you're seeing it with your own eyes, and that's something we weren't able to do unless the customer was waiting, and we went in, grabbed them. Hey, come here, take a look at this, and now, Mrs. Jones might be sitting there. She gets the video, whereas before she'd have to try to explain it to her husband or kids or whatever. This is what they're saying. Well, now she can send them the video, and in fact, the video is viewed. The last time I checked, it was 2.7 times every time we sent a video. So it was obviously being shown to other people, and of course, every time they're showing the video to someone else, unless they're one of our customers, they got to be going, wow, this is amazing, the videos.
Yeah.
Which is something we just opened up last month, where we are actually kind of having an independent shop inside of our shop. We're now working on all makes and models. So I've got 3 techs that are set up to do this for, Ford, Chevys, whatever. We sell all different types of vehicles, and now we're able to service and repair them as well. So it's all gone full circle, and it's really, like I say, the videos is probably one of the coolest things. And I'm amazed, at least the last time I checked, nobody here in Jackson anyway is doing that. So
Really,
it could be different now, but
yeah, I was curious about that.
yeah, I don't believe anybody is. In fact, we sent, I think Sarah had brought a Toyota over here a year or so ago, and we sent them a video of it, and from what I understood, they were really interested in it. I don't know if they ever got it rolling or not.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, quick commentary on our roads, because you mentioned that. Man, in the 90s, Tennessee had some of the best roads because we had like the second highest gas tax. I don't know if that still stands.
Oh yeah.
It was New Jersey and it was us. And all that went to the roads. Something happened, man, somewhere along the way. And I don't know what that money's being spent on now, but it's not the roads.
It ain't the roads. It's sure in the roads. From what I understand, we might even have the highest gas taxes now.
Really?
Um,
Yeah. Well, we
I don't
need
know.
to.
Maybe it's up in East Tennessee or somewhere. Who knows?
Maybe. Did you have any hard numbers that you wanted to talk about? I know you guys have great scores. Was there anything you wanted to? This is your chance to brag, and we'll wrap it up.
So, I mean, really, without going into specifics that I don't want to get into, CSI, we this morning we were 4.74, and that's through Toyota on a 5.0 scale. So that's through year to date. So we look at that, and then we also look at our Google reviews are basically the only things we look at. And I think I'm at 4.6 there. But, we don't really, it's not something I really brag about. I just look at that as we're doing a good job. We're doing what the customers are expecting. And that in the end, that's what keeps them coming back. My retention rate, things like that you really don't really see the numbers on. Those kind of metrics to me show that everything is working and doing it. Of course we're profitable and things along those natures. All of that, I believe our average vehicle is 10 years old and over 100,000 miles. So that says a lot. People aren't just leaving after the free services from Toyota. I think you'll find we have a huge conversion as far as they stay with us. And I like to think it's because I have probably the top advisors in West Tennessee working, as well as the top technicians on fixing, whatever it is that needs to be taken care of. So all of those things together, to me, show that we are definitely doing the right thing. And that's kind of what I look at to gauge, because in the end, that's the customer's going to say what it's going to say. And kind of like how we started this off when I was looking, to steal an advisor from somewhere else. And all you saw were bad surveys, any of the dealers that I was looking at. That just really says a lot to me, that we are doing the right things and taking care of our customers like we should.
Yeah. Speaking of the Google, I looked at the Google reviews and I noticed someone had mentioned the wow. They were like, wow. So that not changing that name worked, man, because even customers are using it. It stuck.
Well, I've got a lot of POP. We spend a lot of money on even the floor mats have wow on them. Or are you ready for your wow experience? My porters have shirts. Are you ready for your wow experiences? Our call center that answers the phones, and I haven't checked in a while, but they were answering, how can we wow you today?
Yeah.
We just, wow is just a frame of mind, and anything we can do, however little it is, to wow the customer, that's kind of what we're all about.
Cool. Ronnie, is there anything I didn't ask you that you wish I had, or anything you want to say?
No, I appreciate you giving me the time to talk about it. Like I say, we spent a lot of time. I've got my service manager and parts managers, top notch. We've all three of us have spent a lot of time together getting, menus priced and, how we're going to handle this and that. And I tell you, it's been a lot of fun. We've really enjoyed the WOW program, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. So it just continues to evolve, I guess would be a better word.
Yeah. Well, good deal, man.
Man.
This is great. And I'm going to get out there. I don't know when. I'm on deadline with this one, and I've got to get this audio to my editor and let him do what he does. But I'm going to get out there, and I need to go early vote. That's what I need to go do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get out there, and I'm with that camera, and I would just, and I'll holler at you. I just won't go out there and start shooting, but get some video to make it look real.
Cool.
I probably.
Yeah. Come on.
This episode was made possible thanks to a proud partnership with Vesperio, which provides tailored solutions to ignite automotive dealership fixed operations, performance, and profit.